I know that you're afraid. You're afraid of us. You're afraid of change. I don't know the future. I didn't come here to tell you how this is going to end. I came here to tell you how it's going to begin. I'm going to hang up this phone, and then I'm going to show these people what you don't want them to see. I'm going to show them a world without you.
What's up, everybody? I'm Fu.
I'm Jay.
And I'm Main One, and we're Unplugged Free Your Mind, a show where we discuss an array of topics, current events, and world news from an unfiltered, unbiased, and unplugged point of view. Welcome back. Welcome back. We back. We back, Mortimer.
Mortimer.
We made it to another week. How y'all guys doing? How was y'all weekend?
Good.
It was good. Wait a minute. We got a special guest. We got Christine here again from the
Hello.
Review. Y'all remember?
Nice to be back.
Yeah. So how was y'all weekend? What, anything exciting happened this weekend?
No, not for me. What about you?
What? You were filming your video.
Oh, yeah. We did the video shoot in Philly yesterday.
Okay.
I can't say that it was exciting. It was work. It was a lot of hard work.
Okay.
It was like we had a few songs, and it was like 5 and 6 takes of it, and it was interesting. By the end of the day, driving up there and then driving back, I was kind of over it. But I'm excited because it was some good music, and hopefully I'll be sharing the link to it and all that on YouTube soon. So
yeah, we definitely need to see that. We need to see you in action, and our audience needs to see you in action.
Yeah, absolutely. As soon as it come out, I'm definitely gonna make sure I share it. What about you? What you got into this weekend?
Nothing. This weekend was quiet. No basketball. No nothing.
What? I gotta make sure I share it. What about you? What you got into this weekend?
Yeah,
wow.
It was quiet.
Where that echo coming from?
I don't know. It's gone now. Yeah. What about you, Fu?
Well, I watched Coming to America too.
Okay.
I made my post, and I said what I said. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna read that. I'm gonna read the post that I made, and I think that I don't know if y'all saw it. I think y'all did. I think I tagged you, but
okay.
I had a lot of people that responded to what I said, and it seemed like it got the reception. It made a lot of people think, and of course, my phone is acting retarded right now, and it don't want to load up. So give me a second. This is called no reception in the house. You can't get reception on the computer. I'm surprised it ain't no delay, and it's happening on my phone too. So it's bad.
That's what happened when you got these Bill Gates products.
No. Yep.
Apple products.
My post said, if you watch Coming to America with absolutely no expectations in comparison to the original, then you won't be disappointed. So by me making that statement, it makes people think, but it's hard because people are emotionally attached to the original. And somebody made a great point and was like, Eddie Murphy hit lightning in a bottle, because he had Coming to America, he had Boomerang, and I think it was one more. It was one more around that time. I mean, besides the originals, you can't count those. That's different. But
Vampire in Brooklyn. Huh? Was that the other one? Vampire in Brooklyn. Was that 90s? That may have been like 90s.
That was later because Kadeem Hardison was in. That's a little later.
Yeah.
That's one of my. There's some scenes in that movie that is my shit right there. I love that
too.
Oh yeah. And one day we're gonna do a show just reviewing some of our favorite movies. Cause
we should.
That would be cool.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree. I mean, I agree with your assessment, man. I watched it for the first time, and I watched it through the lens of everybody else's opinions. You know, everybody was saying that it sucked, they didn't like it, blah, blah, blah. So I had to rewatch it again. And when I did, I saw I saw what it was. I saw it for what it was. So I mean,
I want to talk about that though, because you know you almost ruined it for me.
I'm sorry. I apologize. But
he called me. I told him I'm getting my hair braided Friday, right? So I'm in Harlem. Lady doing my hair. He calls now. It's a regular call. It's not like what we normally do on Messenger. And he's like, disappointed. And I knew right off what he was talking about. I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you. We need to hang up from this point on. Because we were supposed to watch it Friday night. And what I didn't know, though, you did hit me to that. I didn't know that they dropped it a day early. That Thursday night. I didn't even know. Because otherwise, I probably would have did the same.
Yeah.
For me, I really enjoyed it. I was going in with no expectations. I was just in. And, my family watched it. We all laughed. We had our popcorn. We had a good time. Some of the accents were, kind of trying, but it was good. It was really good.
Yeah. Speaking of popcorn, how your popcorn turned out, brother?
Man,
listen, it was trash. It was trash.
Oh, here's the thing. I bought the little air popper. I had never used one of them things before. So I made it or whatever. And I did what I did. I bought some of that white cheddar powder, put it on it, a few other things, and I bought it in for Danny. Loved it. To me, it was okay. But I didn't know that some of them damn kernels don't pop. And when them motherfuckers come out, they hot like fire. Cause they popping everywhere and I'm picking them shits up. I'm like, this hot as hell. But it is what it is. It was I got a new toy. It is what it is, and I work with it.
Okay.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. When we did the weekend review Saturday, I made it known, like this, it was everything that I wanted it to be. I went into it with no real expectation. I had been talking about it the entire time. Like even when they changed the dates, the air dates and everything, I was all about it. And I follow Arsenio. Eddie Medford, he don't have like any social media. So I was following Arsenio. Every time he posted, I was posting it on my story just because, I was excited and it didn't let me down. I enjoyed everything. Now, I do think that there could have been a little bit more, the storyline, it could have been just a little bit more detail and, in length, like they could have kind of slowed things down a bit. But overall, I enjoyed it. And here's something that y'all may not have known. Do you remember the view when it first comes on? You see the view of the palace?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Foo, it's right around the corner from you. Did you know that's Rick Ross's house?
Man, you late. Yeah, it used to be that house. Yeah. Yeah. They filmed the whole thing at his house. Yeah, that's a whole movie.
Wow.
I've driven past the house. I've driven past that house plenty of times. It's in Riverdale or Jonesboro, whatever the hell it is.
No, it's in Fayetteville, Georgia. It's on the outskirts. And I'm sorry, I didn't know. I was just like, what?
I know exactly where it is. I've passed it, but it seemed like people, not you, but certain people are saying that online. And I'm like, y'all forgetting that this was Evander Holyfield's house first.
Yeah, it was Evander Holyfield's house. Exactly. See, I thought I had some, something that y'all didn't know. I was just
completely
That's why Rick Ross got that little bit ass part with his whack ass accent in the movie.
Oh yeah. So let's talk about the cameos because he did have and if you blinked, you would have missed it.
Nah, you didn't miss it because you know his voice. But
no, I mean as far as him being on camera.
What I want, you had a lot of people out there, and I'm gonna say too that when it comes to movies, I'm always critical and I pay attention to everything. But I want to read something to everybody, especially for the people who said they didn't like it and all the reasons that they didn't like it. And this one right here, like it hit the nail right on the head. The coming to America they wanted to see. Akeem knowingly walked away from his son. Lisa and Mary fighting instead of being friends. Lavelle selling dope instead of game tickets. A new light-skinned person to the rescue. Mika chasing the man instead of chasing her purpose. She trained her whole life to be a queen, not some man's queen. Akeem having it all together and figured it out. Lisa's thought and sister still running around causing chaos. Lavelle rejecting Akeem. Lavelle at least sleeps with Babito Izzo because she's sexy. Akeem kills General Izzy because it's impossible to make peace with the enemy. Some of you need to say what you mean. It wasn't ratchet enough for you. You might have missed the quality of the movie because you missed the fact that you were watching a story of emotionally grounded people. Some of you watched only wanting to laugh, not think, consider, understand, or grow. So if you didn't slap your knee laughing, you wrote off the movie as trash because you have no further dimensions. I commend Eddie Murphy for not reducing the brand of his franchise to fit the ratchet and ridiculous representation of blacks we see in the media today. Job well done. This depiction of black excellence served my soul well. You don't have to give it 2 thumbs up just because it's black produced, but don't give it 2 thumbs down just because it's black produced either. In life, it's never the fact that you dislike something or someone. It's how you dislike. It's how you dislike that reveals your character. See, I can't deny.
Well
I can't
said.
deny that. And I got another one, and I'm gonna read as we keep on talking. And when you look at it from that perspective, they're absolutely right, because when you think about Eddie Murphy, especially when you think about Boomerang, think about what we saw on the screen. It was funny. They wasn't really wild. The only person that was wilding out, if you think about it, was Grace Jones. She was from Africa. She was supposed to act like that because she was bougie. Other than that, you didn't see the extraness. So I get what they said right there was exactly right, because we're so used to reality TV and all the bullshit. They made a great point. You can't. It's rare that you're going to be able to touch a movie like the original Coming to America, because it was unique. It was different. Hell, we was kids. The shit was hilarious. The scenes and hell, I even caught, which to me was, and of course anybody young won't catch it, when they mentioned the Dukes in Coming to America too.
Yeah,
but any young, they ain't gonna know what the hell they talking about. They have no
yeah.
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 Yeah. I mean, that was a good that was a good assessment what you just read.
It was. Yeah, I don't know who posted that, but that was an excellent explanation of Now
I'm gonna, since I'm the one with the big mouth, I'm gonna give my gripes, my issues. I have 2 major gripes. Number 1, whether it was a mishap in the script or whether they slipped by not doing what they should have done. If anybody's paying attention, when he's sitting in the when he's getting ready to get the interview or whatever, and he's sitting with his uncle, he says, "Do you know what day it is?" He said, "Yeah." "How old I am?" He said, "I'm 30 today." He clearly said, "I'm 30 today." When they got back to the house for the party, his mother said, "Make sure you put 31 candles on that cake." She said that very clearly. So for me, I'm saying to myself, if the birthday is wrong, that might not be Eddie Murphy's son. That's just the way I was thinking. Because I'm like, wait a minute, something's off. Plus, she's a self-proclaimed hoe. She said she a hoe. Ain't no telling who baby that possibly was. Even though the witch doctor showed the picture and it looked like him. So I'm gonna let that slide. But that's something they should have addressed. And to me, he should have taken the paternity test.
Exactly. I was about to say that. Even before he started saying that that he was going to inherit all that, there should have been a DNA test first.
Yeah.
But in the beginning, when the mother was told that, when she saw Eddie Murphy, and she's like, "Oh shit," remember, she's like, she wasn't really sure if he was Eddie Murphy was the son, that she wasn't sure, right? At the same time, right? He should have done a DNA test, Jay, what you said, and then and then figure it out from there. It could have come out in part 3.
Now I'm gonna give y'all something that they could have done, and to me, it would have made it even funnier.
Okay.
There is no way 30 years later, they was at that barbershop. Because what they should have done, and it would have made it funny, they should have had all of them in a damn old folks home, still together, talking shit, and he went to the old folks home. Now that would have been funny as fuck, because they could have went a whole lot of angles with that. It would have been perfect.
Or they could have had them still in the shop, but had like their sons being the one cutting hair, and they just sitting there talking shit.
Right.
You know? And the son cutting hair, and the old dudes just sitting there talking shit. That'd have been.
Because there ain't no way, from the way they portrayed them in the first movie, that they're supposed to be alive. There is no way.
Oh yeah.
30 years later,
the white dude was probably 70 then, back then.
Exactly.
What are you, 100 now?
Exactly.
Yeah, you're right. They should have went with that angle. And it's so funny because do y'all know that this script had been in the making for like what, 7 or 8 years now?
Really?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
That's the thing. From Eddie Murphy did an interview, and he said there wasn't supposed to be a sequel.
Right.
So being that it wasn't supposed to be a sequel, it's like they could have went. I mean, to me, with everybody being in the house, the movie theaters really not being open, I firmly believe it's probably good that it was like that, because if you would have people go to the movies to see that, I don't think it would have been good. To get the feedback off of social media like this is different.
Right.
Because
man, can I tell you,
they like Netflix.
So Amazon really went above and beyond. And really quick, I just want a quick interjection. Y'all, how long was the movie? Tasha Renee's asking, how long was the movie? Do y'all know right off the top of your head?
Probably like an hour and 30 minutes.
No, it's like 2 hours and some, no?
2 hours?
No.
2 hours. It was 2 hours. It was long, yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I got a 2.5 gripe. Where the fuck they get Frisky's cat food in Zamunda?
He ordered it. Amazon Prime.
Ain't going to Zamunda? My ass. In Zamunda, in Queens, maybe he ain't getting that shit no goddamn Zamunda.
Look, I don't know, but I mean, it's supposed to be modern times, and Amazon has everything all over. So Zamunda may have their own distribution center. Look, they had their own McDowell's right in the center.
That's family shit.
The movie was an hour and 48 minutes, so almost 2 hours.
Okay, so almost 2 hours. So there you go, Tasha. Yeah. So where did you get the Friskies? I didn't even think about that.
I told you I pay attention to everything.
Yeah, you did.
So what I was gonna say was Amazon's. I think when they first started, something happened where somebody had. I think it was. I can't think of which company it was, but anyway, Amazon acquires it, and then they started marketing for this, and they did everything. I seen one of the big trucks on 95, and it had the Coming to America sign on it. And I'm like, man, they are mass advertising. I'm wondering, how did it do overall since Friday? Like, is there a way they could measure, who all downloaded the app, or the app on the TV, and then how many people was actually, like, how many times has it been viewed collectively, uniquely?
I'm pretty sure they have those metrics somewhere.
And I mean, for me, I think it's more so. I think it's going to be more so the word of mouth and how people are talking about it. And in my personal opinion, I don't because I felt the way that I felt. When I watch it if it's on, maybe, but it's not like it's not the original. Am I mad? Nah, it is what it is. It's a movie, and honestly, I've seen worse. I've seen a lot worse, and I'm not gonna badmouth it. So I'm gonna give y'all another one, and I think y'all gonna relate to this one too. And I'm reading these because the comments that I've seen, people gotta understand we shouldn't be trashing our movies.
Thank you.
It's a difference. Like you don't want to do that. We could talk about it. But the social media shit we shouldn't do. Somebody said Coming to America was not meant to be better than the first. Eddie made this entirely for the culture. Seeing us on screen and it not be about slavery or police killing us was a refresher. Seeing Arsenio Hall and John Amos was a treat. Seeing Wesley Snipes on screen again looking like, oh, I'm not. This is a woman. I'm reading a woman's post. Seeing Wesley Snipes on screen again looking like fresh cocoa butter was great. Hearing James Earl Jones's voice was music to my ears. 33 years ago, movies were setting trends. We get excited over Gorilla Glue now. So yeah, reality TV and shock news like The Shade Room has us messed up mentally on how we view shows. Oh my God, having an all-black cast, black writer, and then filming it at Rick Ross's house and on Tyler Perry Studios was icing on the cake.
Wow.
Eddie did this for the fans. We needed this. We needed this movie to watch. We needed this movie to watch, laugh, and relax to. We are so used to being killed on screen or assassinated or trapped in a fake slave camp. Infidelity. Y'all don't get tired of all that okie doke crap. Oh, and shout out to Peaches. Shout out to Peaches and her sister. I loved it. Eddie went looking for them. The black skin, love it. Also, Bella Murphy did a great job on her acting debut. The hair, the attire, everything was on point. Black excellence.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Bella, you guys she was the middle daughter.
Right. Yeah. Right.
So I want to comment on that first. I thank that person for posting that. I wanted to start off the show anyway saying happy International Women's Day. Y'all know today is the day. So I agree with everything that they're saying. Like I personally, I'm kind of over all of the negative type of movies about us. I was happy and proud of this. It was a proud moment for me. It was sort of like Black Panther. I've seen it now. I've seen Black Panther a few times, and with Coming to America, I watched it again day before yesterday. So I've seen it 4 times already.
Wow.
I'm that proud of it.
Just to answer y'all question, so Hollywood Reporter says Coming to America scores biggest streaming opening weekend of the past year. So
wow.
What I want to see is think about all the movies. Well, I know for somebody like me, I've watched a lot of TV and I've watched a lot of movies over the years. And what we don't usually see on screen is us, especially in a positive light where we can appreciate the story. So I look at like a movie like Boiler Room. I would love to see a movie like Boiler Room done over with us. And they put a twist on it because they really could do that shit because it wouldn't be them doing it like that. They could just be home trading. Like the stories that could be out there is crazy. I always bring up A Different World. Bringing A Different World back right now would be amazing with all the storylines that they have. They got so much shit they could talk about and touch on, whether it's funding for the school. It could have been 45. It could have been, of course, they're going to throw the gay shit in there. That's automatic. The killings. They damn near did it back in the day.
That's what they were known for. That actually was something very controversial where I was watching an interview with what's her name? Debbie Allen. And they touched on the fact that in the makings of the episodes, how they would struggle with the network on, certain things not to talk about. So I mean, you're absolutely right. Like it would be nice to see shows like that come back. And if I'm not mistaken, Coming to America was the very first all Black movie, except for the one guy that worked in McDowell's. That was, all Black actors or whatever. And Paramount actually made them put that, made Eddie Murphy select someone white for it.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that would probably have gotten Paramount in some kind of trouble after he said that in an interview. He said that in a few of the interviews leading up to the movie.
Christine, what's Antebellum? What's that?
It's a movie. With
I saw that.
Monet.
Yes.
You'll like it. You'll like it.
Did you guys watch it?
Yeah, I've seen it.
I did.
What did you think about it?
It had it had the Get Out tone to it. The movie Get Out.
Yeah.
It was reality.
So,
for me, it was reality.
Yeah. It took me a while to kind of get what was going on, but in the end, I enjoyed it. It was super suspense because I couldn't get it at first. It was,
I'm gonna have to check that out. I haven't seen that.
Yeah, check it out. It's a really good. It's really good.
You're gonna catch it. I'm not gonna say what it was, but it's gonna be something that you're gonna see that's gonna have you questioning exactly what it is. Once I saw it, I was like, wait a minute, something off. And I was like, okay, that's what it was. I got it.
Here's another remake movie. Another remake movie they can do. While we talking about movies they can remake with black cast, The Black Wolf of Wall Street. Since we all into the stock market now.
Yeah, I mean, yo, the thing about it is, we have to look at our culture. Our culture does run the world, but unfortunately, every time we looking at TV or movies, 9 times out of 10, it's not us portraying heroes. It's not. It's always now mind you, me and Jermaine, we love the fucking Matrix. We could talk about the Matrix all day long. Will Smith turned the Matrix down. Now I want people to really understand something. If you think about the Matrix, you had Morpheus, which was good. You also had the Oracle. Perfect. But for the little black kids to see Will Smith as the one, now, in my personal opinion, he couldn't have pulled it off. Keanu Reeves, that's my man. Keanu Reeves is my dude. Keanu Reeves is a different type of dude because he's not even typical Hollywood. So I respect his gangster. But we have to see, and kids need to see more of us in the spotlight like that. Think about a movie like Love Jones. Love Jones is one of my favorite movies of all times. Yeah. Love Jones was so different and so deep. Like they can't bring that back. You can't touch what they did. Right. They got lucky with Best Man Holiday. Best Man Holiday to me is a great sequel. The way they did it, everything about it. That shit, I actually cried in that shit. That shit fucked me up when she died. But basically, we have to see more of us. And it's about time that we started remaking movies. Why not?
We have to see more of us not being thugs, not being drug dealers, not being rappers,
or slaves,
not being slaves, not being snitches, not being crooked cops and all. No, we
single mothers and all of those
single mothers and crackheads and all. No, we have to be portrayed like we are as kings and queens and prominent in society and that moves culture instead of stagnating culture. So I think we killed Coming to America review. So what else went on? I think the jury selection for the George Floyd got delayed today. I didn't read too much into it. I just saw the headline saying that it got delayed. So I'm not sure exactly.
Yeah, I wonder what was going on with that, because I heard to begin with that they were only allowing like 1 or 2 of his family members to be present in court. So I wonder, was there some type of did that start up like
I'm gonna tell you one thing. If they don't convict that dude, if they burn the police station down after what happened last time, if they don't convict this dude, I'm glad I don't live in Minnesota. I'm dead serious. I think Minnesota gonna blow the fuck up. Like Minnesota could spark something if this dude don't get convicted. It's gonna be a problem. And I actually believe if he doesn't get convicted, it's gonna look bad on Biden.
I'm convinced he's gonna get convicted.
Well,
he's gonna get, but it really like 2 years or something like that. Like it's not gonna be much.
Well, I think it has something to do with the appeals. I'm just trying to read it real quick. His attorney was finalizing the appeal, whether or not to reinstate the murder charge. I think they dismissed the 3rd-degree murder charge against him. So it has something to do with the an appeal process, or how he will be able to appeal for whatever charge that they're going to charge him with. So That's up in the air. So it's not really much meat we can talk about on that. So I guess we'll just move on to the next topic. So what else? What else happened this week?
I was looking at an article this morning about Biden is he's going to turn his attention to the student loan debts, whether to forgive it 100% or reduce it by I think the article said like $10,000 for a lot of people.
Wait a minute. Wait. Let me get this straight. So the magic number, so they're gonna reduce it. So if your student loans is 11,000, they're gonna take away 10.
He's looking to go about it either one of two ways, and that's one of the ways, either by $10,000 or to wipe it all out altogether.
Okay. Well, I can't lose either way. If they wipe it all out, I'm good. If they wipe off 10, I only owe like $2,000. I'm good. I don't care.
So this is what it says specifically. It says forgive the 10,000, which would clear the balance for a third of borrowers and put a nice dent into the outstanding balances of people in the larger groups, like between 20,000 and 40,000. Or they can forgive, 50,000, which would wipe out debt for about 80% of the borrowers. But they're saying since most people that are in that larger group they have PhDs and the likes, they feel like that would just, make it too easy for them. So,
well, yes, but I don't know, the 50% looks really good. The 50,000 is really good. For people like doctors, lawyers, these people that have a high, 100,000, 200,000, break it down 50,000. Yeah, but what about the people who are 20,000 in debt? What, they won't be qualified for student? No, but that's not fair. That is not fair. Everyone should, if you're saying that you're going to relieve student loans, everybody should have, be included.
That's why they should keep it at the 50,000, up
50,
to 50,000,
or maybe 50%, half. How's about half?
No,
so if you
hell no, 20... hell no. No, here's the thing. I think this will be cool. I'm gonna play on what you just said. Up to 50,000. Or half if it's over 50,000.
Okay, so that is fair enough, but I believe that everybody should be included.
Half or more or whatever if it's over $100,000. That way, the people who really got them high shits. So, but hell no, don't say no goddamn half for everybody. Nah, I need that 13,000. Oh, fuck that. Nah.
So, and another route that they are considering would be based on your income.
Well, I won't hold my breath or pull my hair out.
So if your income is low, they would write off the whole thing, right?
That's
if it's over, but they have to be an amount. So if it's over 50,000 a year, what would they do for that?
I don't know. I think it'll be a range. You know what I mean? Sort of like how the stimulus package, because with that they're targeting the lower income, almost poverty level people who are in debt. So I don't know. I mean, or they said another option was for him to do nothing, which I don't think that would be good.
No, something has to be done. But they just need to go to the drawing board and figure out how they're gonna incorporate the low income people as well as be fair to the people who have a little bit more, to relieve some. Not all, but some.
I think
because they have to pay back. They've been to school, doctors, lawyers. They've been to school for years. Come on, they can't have it easy. They have to pay something.
I think
exactly.
I think we have to come to the realization that as a society that that's not going to happen. I think the student loan forgiveness should happen, but what we have seen is the attack on the working class in the last year and a half, 2 years, longer than that. We've seen them attacking the working class. So why would they give you a leg up? They already attacking. They trying to break you down now. Why would they doing that? Would give a lot of people a leg up, not having to pay student loans. That would increase a lot for some people. So why would they do that? And I'm a firm believer in that. This government system that we have over here in the United States, they're not here to help the American people. They're not here to help the working class people. They're here. The Congress and our Senate is bought by corporations, and that's who they care about. So as easy as it was for them to bail out the airlines and all this stuff when this all started in March, as easy as it was for them to say, poof, here go $5 trillion. Go ahead and do what y'all do. It's the same way they get. I mean, the student loan debt in this country is $1.6 trillion. That's like a third of what they gave to the richest people in this country in March. That could be easily done. That they can wipe out everybody's if they wanted to, but they choose not to. So, I mean, it would be nice because I have student loans. It'd be nice for it to go away, but like I said, I'm not going to hold my breath, waiting, thinking that they're going to do it because they, like Jace pointed out, they got all these different options, all these different avenues. Well, we can do it this way. We can do it that way. No, y'all can do it all if you want to, but you won't. So
right, because there has to be a benefit for them too. They can't not give and not receive as well. You know, it's like a scale. They have to keep it balanced, right?
Yeah. And you mentioned earlier, Tanya, what are they doing there where you are in Canada?
Don't say that. Don't say that. It's just in a different country. Just in a different country.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
Basically, we don't have, they wanted to relieve our debts, but that didn't come through. So basically what they do now, if you are in the medical field, so if you're a doctor or a nurse or like even a personal support worker or whatever, if you want your debt to relieve, just nurses and doctors, if you want your debt to be relieved, you have to go to a remote area in Canada, in where I'm from. Where everything, right? Where everything has to be flown in. There's no life there. It's really, really, really cold, right? You go there, you give them 5 years of experience, and then that's it. But then there's a catch to it. You have to live there for a year. And then after you live there for a year, you apply, and then you get in, and then you give your 5 years, and that's it. You have no debt, no matter how much it is, they'll wipe it off.
Okay.
Because you've given service to them.
We got a question from Mandy Nunnery. She says, "What do you think of the decrease in the unemployment?" Well, actually, Mandy, we hadn't got to the stimulus yet. We're going to answer that when we get to, because we're going to talk about the stimulus coming up next, because it's a lot of bull crap in that stimulus package too. I'm glad it got passed, but let's wrap up this student loan. So
let me make a statement real quick. Jermaine made a great point about 1.6 trillion. And it was dropping the bucket for what the wealthy got during this pandemic. The fact of the matter is that when it comes to programs or anything that actually helps the people, there's always resistance. It's always something. If it's $15 minimum wage, it's a problem. If it's Medicare for all, it's a problem. If it's stimulus checks or whatever, it's always a holdup. But when it's about big business, when it's about bailing out big business, it's with the swipe of a pen. It's not a problem. That is an issue. And for me, the reason that it's a major issue is because the major companies, they're the ones that benefit the most by doing something like that. When you factor in them bailing out big business, they the ones that put themselves in that situation. Straight up and down. And why not let the businesses fail? at least with the student loans thing, the world can still move. The country can still move with the student loans thing. But when these big companies got bailed out, these CEOs getting bonuses and shit. Y'all getting bonuses while people don't have jobs. People struggling. To me, personally, that's some grimy shit. But that's not something that they talk about. That's not something that they mention. And it's business as usual. They keep on doing the same exact thing over and over and over again. And for me, it's not fair because it's supposed to be about what the people want. But they consistently do exactly to a T. They do what they want without a problem.
Yeah.
And everybody keep voting for the same motherfuckers.
Right.
Like, as far as the student loans thing, all I want is what we saw for the past, 8 years, a little longer. Where is, we need to be hearing from Bernie Sanders. We need to be hearing from Elizabeth Warren, AOC, all of them. Y'all need to be, I don't care if nothing don't happen. Y'all need to be talking that shit the same way y'all was talking before. But we not seeing, I mean, Bernie was bitching about the $15 minimum wage, but it needs to be public uproar over this shit. That's the whole thing. Because if it's public uproar and Biden doesn't listen, now he's going to turn into exactly what his predecessor was doing. They don't give a fuck about the people, even though we know that they don't give a fuck about the people. But I want to see it happen. I want to see it happen like that.
You're essentially what you're saying is holding them accountable to whatever platform they ran on to get elected.
When we supposed to, but motherfuckers, you see people ain't bitching about this $1,400. Anybody bitching?
Well,
ain't nobody bitching. They gonna take the money.
Well, I mean, and while we said let's just go ahead and transition into that. So
stimulus,
the $1,400, which is I think is well needed, is overdue.
Yes.
I think we should be doing like other wealthy countries. We should have been getting monthly payments like everybody else. There's no reason why we shouldn't have been getting that. But it goes again to Fool's point. I'm gonna go ahead and answer Mandy's question. Yes, I did see that they shrunk the unemployment to $300. It was $400. They initially ran on $600 unemployment, but they decreased it to $300. And the reason why you have all this stuff is so. And this is where I think a lot of people don't understand politics. And I say this consistently all the time. There's Republicans and Democrats, but they don't see it the same way we view it, Republicans, Democrats. You have Democrats that lean right. You never see you have Republicans that lean left or lean to the center. You never see that. It's always the Democrats leaning either to the center or to the right. So now we have all these center right Democrats that are in the Republican Party that voted down the $15 minimum wage. So what do you do about that? So now your vice and two of them come from states that your president is from, Delaware. So what do people say? How can you justify? Oh well, I'm a Democrat, when you got Democrats voting against your own interests. See, this is the understanding that a lot of people just don't get. I think they just so programmed that I have to vote this way because they supposedly work for my best interest, but they consistently show you that they don't. So that's the frustrating thing about seeing all this stuff. Again, like I said, I'm not going to knock the $1,400 that people are getting because it's very important that some of these people that these people get it. But when you look at how they had the means test this $1,400, well, if you make this amount, you can't get this, and they're going by 2019's tax return. So if I was making $90,000 in 2019 and I lost my job over this 2020. I'm not eligible for the $1,400 because if you're single and you make over $75,000, you're not eligible for the stimulus. And as a couple, if you make more than $160,000, you're not eligible for the stimulus. But if I'm not making that now, that makes absolutely no sense because you're going by my 2019 tax return, almost 2 years ago, tax returns. So how is that fair?
Yeah, and I think it's 80,000.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. If you make $80,000, so if I made that in 2019, and then I got significantly cut in 2020 because of what was happening, so that means I'm not eligible for the stimulus.
You, I want to say something that
The full
was
amount.
missed by what you said, and it plays into what you be talking about. What's going to happen in 2022 and in 2024? Here's the thing: with the resistance that they're given for everybody, pretty much not to get it, somebody from the Republican Party is going to say, "When our president was in, everybody got it, and they got both." And people gonna remember. It's crazy because when you start talking about the Republican base ain't fickle. They vote Republican consistently. It's always gonna be that. They always gonna have their numbers. It's the Democrats that gotta fight to get votes. So when you start bringing in that type of logic, it's gonna be easy to sway a Democrat to stay their ass home. Republicans, once again, if the numbers was right, 76 million people voted for 45. 76 million. You get that kind of turnout for a president again, and you factor in, the midterms and all that.
And look at the optics. So the optics show that 45 gave more direct payment money to the American people than Biden. That's what I mean, but that's optics. You know what I'm saying? We not saying that he was the greatest president, but optics wise, he gave $1,800, and Biden is giving you $1,400.
1,400. So
And
so how is someone gonna live off of that if they have to make a certain amount of money in order to get qualified, and this person lost their job, right? How are they still have rent to pay, I'm sure. They have other bills to pay. They still have to eat. How are they gonna survive?
they in that package they have the rent the rent process of forgiveness or whatever, where you can furlough your rent. Not furlough, it's called defer your rent.
But you're deferring it, but you have to pay for it
Right.
eventually. So that still doesn't make any sense. Like
No.
where I'm from, you get that money as you apply for it, you get it straight in your bank account 3 days. Next month you apply, you get it until the government says we are putting a stop to it. That's the only way. And they have extended it a year. So all the unemployment people, they have a whole year to get their $2,000.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter. Once you're not working, you get it. That's it.
Yeah. I mean, and you look at it, 12 million fewer adults are going to get this $1,400, and that's 5 million fewer children that's going to get the stimulus, which is absolutely absurd. But here's the caveat to that: the so-called progressives in the party, because this was a must-pass bill. This was a must. They had to pass this bill. So what the progressives could have done was they could have sat on. Well, they could have sat on this bill for the $15 minimum wage. So the $15 minimum wage, they tabled that. They took that out the bill. But the progressive, it would have only took 6 of them to say, no, you're not going along with this. And they would have had to either put that $15 bill minimum wage in there, or they would have had to come up with a compromise. But they didn't even do that. And the reason why the progressives were voted into these positions to not attack, but to go against the establishment Democrats. And they consistently don't do that. They go along with the party every time. So this is why you have such low voter turnout, because people see as for what? Why?
And then what do they do when backlash starts to come, when people start waking the fuck up? Here comes the distraction. Here comes something. They're gonna throw something in there so that you'll forget about this. Because even with what you said earlier, 45 gave up 1,800. Biden is supposed to send you 1,400, and he promised 2,000. I don't want anybody to gloss over that. Like, that's the whole thing. It's $400 a whole lot of money extra? No, it's the $600 more. It's the principle. My whole thing is it's always gonna be just keep your word, yo. Keep your fucking word. If you say you're gonna do something, do it. But that's not what we get. And too many people give passes with shit. Stop doing that. No. And the fact of the matter is, which is the sad part, we can't hold any of them accountable because they selected and not elected. It doesn't even matter. They're going to put in office who they want in office. It's really not going to matter. I asked everybody to watch The Men Who Built America. And on one of those episodes, Carnegie, Rockefeller, and who's the other one? Not Ford. JP Morgan. They bought a president. Somebody tell me what's the difference between them buying the president and Citizens United. I'll wait. It's the same exact shit. Nothing changes. Any of these politicians, whether you're a senator or you're a congressman, they say as soon as you get elected, you got to start fundraising again. As soon as you get elected, you have to start fundraising again. So it's not about being a public servant. You have to pretty much be a politician. And for me, if I was lucky enough to become a congressman or a senator, guess what? I'm not going to give a damn about fundraising like that. I'm gonna go in there and speak for the people. Point blank period. Whatever's going to happen. If I lose, fuck it. I don't really care. Because you can push as many commercials as you want. But if you're in the streets, if you're in your community, people won't forget that. I've always said, when you run for office, just because the numbers say the Democrats live over here and they give you the address, I think it's called Vote Builder. This is where the Democrats are. You need to knock on these doors. I'm knocking on every door possible. Because if you go knock on the door of a Republican who ain't got shit, who ain't getting shit, either you can convince them to vote for you or you can convince them to stay their ass home. And you can say, what has your elected official done for you? It changes. And when they see you, because we human beings, but this ain't something that people want to talk about because it gets down to the real. We having a conversation right now about what is actually happening. What is actually happening. We ain't talking about hope. We ain't talking about no damn the shit that they talked. Nah, this is what they not doing. So if they not doing it, call them out on their bullshit and stop pacifying and justifying the shit that they don't do. Consistently don't do.
Yeah. You've been quiet, Jay.
Yeah. I really don't have an opinion right now.
Okay.
I'm just listening. I'm taking it all in. My biggest thing is educate yourself in it and do what works best for your situation.
Yeah.
That's my stance on it. It is what it is.
And I'm going to say something that Jermaine always says, because we hear this from people who we know. Why don't y'all ever call out the Republicans? Because the Republicans show you exactly who they are. They don't run on one thing and then do something else. They tell you exactly what they're going to do. Democrats, they say they're going to do something. No backbone. They don't do it. That's why we call them out on their bullshit, because they're supposed to be the party for the people, allegedly.
Well, you looking at it now, everybody's, we got to win these 2 seats for the Senate, and we'll have the Senate and the House. Well, you got both parties, and even though you got both houses, so you pretty much got a bully pulpit. What's getting passed for the working people? And they'll bring up, well, it's not totally, you got 50-50. Well, you got a Democratic vice president. She breaks the tie. Oh, well, we can still got the filibuster. Your president already said he don't want to get rid of the filibuster. So that's that right there was telling me is, they don't want to do shit for you. If they coming up with all this damn shit, they don't want to do shit for you. Kamala Harris could have voted. She could have voted down the goddamn $15 minimum wage. She didn't. She could have said, nah, we need to push that through. She didn't.
You guys look at what's going on. Look at what's going on in this country. And they've always said with everything that's been going on in this country, we need a jump start to the economy. The way you jump start the economy, a jobs bill, an infrastructure bill. Now, let's just say I'm going to use the infrastructure bill for an example. You pass an infrastructure bill immediately. So you're talking about repairing railroads or the train system, roads and bridges. What does that do? That puts a lot of people in these construction jobs. If you're bringing those jobs and you're getting that stuff done, that takes those people to those areas. Those people in those areas spend money in that city, in that state, pushing the economy. Now you can't sit there and say, "Oh, you can't pay $15." That's bullshit, because it's been proven that $15 don't hurt nothing. That's it. And if I'm not mistaken, there was a study done years ago. The minimum wage based on inflation is supposed to be $33 and some change. Based on inflation, it ain't supposed to be no damn $15. Minimum wage is basically supposed to be 33. Literally, it's based on inflation. I forgot what I saw. I saw it a while ago. It's supposed to be about 30 something.
That has to vary though. That has to vary though from state to state, I'm sure.
But what you have to factor in is look at what has happened since we was kids. Cigarettes wasn't what, $1.10? Look at where cigarettes are now, especially talk about New York. Think about a gallon of milk.
And they're being taxed accordingly. Yeah.
A gallon of milk back in the day was $1 and some change. A gallon of milk now is almost $4. Once again, you have to include inflation. You have to. They do that shit in the stock market. That's why the stock market crashes. Because of inflation. If there's too much money being pumped into the economy, however they break that shit down, then it's going to be a crash. But see, these aren't the conversations that people have, because once again, they're going to force feed you the bullshit to distract you from what really is and the games that they are playing. Miss Straight Talk said it was cigarettes was 75 cents when she was a kid. I remember being a kid going around the corner to get cigarettes for people. It was $1.10. They used to give me like $1.50 and say keep change, get you some chips or something like that. So, but these, hell, think about gas. It's the same shit.
Yeah.
Gas back in the day, I had a CRX. It used to cost me $10 to fill a CRX in. Fill my CRX up. It was a $10 tank.
Yeah. Well, I mean, so I mean, while we're talking about these, we on politics, so let's just go ahead and finish out the politics. So they passed the bill for the People Act, the HR1. I don't know if y'all familiar with it. Look it up. Just read. I would suggest everybody read through it. I found a few things that kind of, well, just one thing that really stuck out to me. And this is the argument against, where everybody, well, we got to start a third party. We got to get a reputable third party. And so what they're doing in this act is they're attacking the third party. Because most people, if you know about politics, if you start a third party, it's grassroots. You're not taking corporate money. You're not taking donations from these businesses, large businesses and stuff like that. So the amount of a green presidential campaign will be required to raise to qualify for federal matching funds was $5,000. So it was like $5,000 from 20 of the states. You have to raise $5,000 for the federal government to match it for your presidential campaign. Now they've raised it in this bill to $25,000. So grassroots president. So me, if I want to say I want to run for president, I got five stacks for these 20. No. Now you need 25,000. How is somebody supposed to raise $25,000 in 20 states? It's nearly impossible, and that's why we would never.
Isn't that where lobbying comes into play? When you have certain businesses and certain people backing your campaign.
Well, if you're a third party and you're not part of the big two, you're not going to get the amount of money from any kind of business that's going to give you enough money to do that. That's why third parties you rarely see advertisement for third party candidates. You probably don't even know who they are because they just don't have enough money to do that.
When
So
you
that-
say third party, you mean parties like the independent,
Independent, the Green Party, the People's
Green,
Party.
yeah, okay.
Yeah.
I-
So I mean, they just don't have the money to do that. So now what they're doing is, while they're saying they're trying to take the money out of politics, they're actually adding money into politics with that.
I firmly believe, and I don't know if it's going to happen in our lifetime. I think that the big two the big two eventually going to get bit in the ass because we live in a country where 45 got elected as president. Now, when I make a statement, I say that to say what qualified him to be president. Now, here's the thing.
He had the money.
No,
it
wasn't the money. He had the name.
Mm.
The money wasn't the issue. It was the name. So here's the thing. What's going to end up happening is there's going to end up being a third-party candidate who has a name, and they're going to be able to use their influence, especially on social media, and they're going to end up fucking up an election. And when I say fucking up an election, it's going to be on either they're going to end up winning or they're going to disrupt it so bad, now they're going to have to get noticed. Because honestly, it doesn't really take much in this day and age. Hell, a video can go viral fast than a motherfucker. And if you get the right person, if you get the right people behind the right person, if you get the right people behind the right person, it's game over. Because it's about what you keep on saying. That's why I've always said student loans is a universal issue. The redneck Republican that constantly vote Republican, if they went to college and got student loans, or they'll vote for motherfucker pushing student loans. If it's guaranteed, they're gonna vote. You gotta find the right. That's why they always said the right subject to run on was weed.
Well,
Go ahead, Jay.
let me push back on you for a second with 45. Yeah, he had the name, but what he did was he attacked the establishment. He attacked the neoliberal bullshit that's been going on in this country for the last 10, 15, 20 years. He attacked them. He said, what are they doing? What have they done for you? How have they made your life better? And people gravitated to that because they looked at their life. They looked around and they said, you know what? You fucking right. They ain't did shit for me. I'm going to do this. Now we know he was lying because he got in there and his policies did the exact opposite. But on the campaign trail, he galvanized them by saying, I'm going to do this. When I get in there, I'm going to change this. I'm not going to be the same old politician. I'm not going to do this. I'm going to do this different. I'm going to give you Medicare for all. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And from people that's listening that really don't understand politics, that stuck with them. And they believe that. So
yeah. The unfortunate thing was, he ran his campaign way differently than the traditional presidents.
Right.
So, and you are absolutely right. People gravitated to that for some odd reason, but that makes me question what has changed about us in the past 10, 15 years where we gravitate to that kind of mess.
Nah, Jay, you gotta understand. You gotta think about who he reached out to. He told people in West Virginia, one of the poorest states in the country, he was going to bring coal back. And they believed that shit. You can go look up the speech. I was like, coal? What? There's coal mines. There's no way that they're coming back. So what he did was he riled up poor whites. He riled their asses up. And by him riling them up, what happened? The numbers started to shift. He was going to places that they weren't going. That's where Hillary fucked up. If Hillary would have went to certain places, it's a possibility. Even though it was still every shit, I think the shit still would have happened. But he was smart the way he did that.
But by him doing that, going to those places, and he did exactly what you said to do as a politician. When you said they had the map where you're supposed to go knock on the doors, he knocked on everybody's door.
Yeah.
Whereas the Democratic Party, They look at it as like, oh, well, this state's blue, this state's blue, this state's blue. Nah, I'm not going to go there. We know they blue. I'm not going to go here. I know they blue.
Yeah.
Hillary, she didn't go to Minnesota. That was a quote unquote blue state. She didn't go there. He did. And he told those people, they won't even show up for you. Look at your life. I can make your life better. And he turned that Minnesota from blue to red. So,
didn't he win Michigan too?
I
think he won Michigan too. Because Michael Moore kept talking about that.
I don't remember.
Michigan.
Yeah, it's a possibility because Flint crisis was going on there, so it's a possibility he won that.
Yeah.
So, I mean, like I said, I don't believe that we have a two-party system. I think we have a Republican and a Republican light, which is the Democrats. It's just one party, in my opinion. So
Mandy said, do you think every small business can afford to pay per employee $1,500?
$15.
Go ahead, Jay.
No. $15.
$15. See, and that's the misconception, because no, the small business person probably can't pay their employees $15, but we have to remember they wipe the small businesses out. This pandemic has wiped most of all the small businesses out. So they're not even talking about the small businesses having to pay their employees. They're talking about these companies that have more than maybe 100 employees or so. That's what they're talking about with the $15 minimum wage. And of course, it's going to be state to state. It's not going to be where it's going to be everybody across the board $15 an hour, because $15 an hour don't mean shit in New York and in these big cities.
Definitely there are. You have people, minimum wage in Manhattan,
right.
I think now is $15.
So
but
I think
here in Westchester, I think it's like whatever the standard is. But at the end of the day, I mean, you do have small businesses really make up a really big portion of our economy, and you do have some businesses that actually survive through COVID-19. So can they afford to pay their people $15 an hour?
I don't think that's going to be a mandate for them to pay $15 an hour.
If the feds say that this is the base, this is what you at least have to pay, then everybody has to do that. What happens is it does become an anomaly in places like New York because of the cost of living and the whatever. So in New York, it may go from people in Manhattan making 15 to making 20.
So this goes back
would
to
the government. Sorry, would the government give the small businesses some kind of grant to supplement that, since they can't afford it? And then if they mandate that the small businesses have to pay their employees $15, they can't afford it. Government gives grants to.
I don't know. I'm not really sure how that works.
Because if they're going to pass it, they have to give some kind of incentive to the business to actually give the employees that money, right?
And as a small business, if I have to pay my employee $15 an hour, that means, hey, you can't work here no more. I'm sorry. I'm gonna have to cut.
So now do you see that's a terrible trickle effect, though. That's a bad effect, because now we're talking about unemployment going up.
But here's the hook. This is what I said earlier a few minutes ago. This is why they want to do it, so they can finish wiping out the small businesses.
Wow.
Because I know you can't afford to pay that, and I know you can't run your business with just 1 to 2 people. So what you gonna have? What's gonna end up happening? These small businesses are gonna end up closing their doors, and another big company gonna come to suck it up.
And I mean, to me, it also, when you start talking about the jobs, what jobs are you talking about to pay $15 an hour? Because when you start talking about these big corporations, like a McDonald's, Wendy's, all the fast food spots. Yeah, y'all got it. Pay them motherfucking $15 an hour. Stop. Y'all got the money. Stop the bullshit. Stop it. Y'all do have.
Well, that's what I mean across the board. It would become everyone, from the people that work in a beauty supply store to the McDonald's to the whatever. It becomes across the board. This is the minimum. But you pay them whatever, as long as you're paying them this amount.
But this is why, to me, it can work. I think it could work. It's based on the business. because there's some small businesses, they pay more than $15 an hour.
True.
I mean, because you got to think about whether it's products, this, that, whatever. And once again, what would you rather have a job paying $15 an hour, or would you rather do your own thing and be an entrepreneur and make your own fucking money? Where it's not $15. That's what I'm saying. But it depends on the individual. To me, everything depends on the individual. That's the way I feel about it. Because I'm a firm believer of an hour of my life ain't worth no motherfucking $15. Fuck out of here. I'm good. Nah, I do shit on my own.
Well, we're not going to promote entrepreneurship in this country. That's not going to happen. We don't want you to be an entrepreneur. We want you to be a cog in the wheel. We want you to be a worker.
Well, and then let's be realistic. You know, that's you have a situation there, and then there are other situations where people, you know, they have families, they got mouths to feed, they need a roof over their head, they need food on the table, they need clothes on their backs. So, I mean,
and guess what? I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this exactly what you just said. They got a family. They got to get a roof over their head. If it's a mother, a father, and at least 2 kids, y'all better run that goddamn business together. Y'all better do something together. Like, y'all better rock out to, because think about it. It's your motherfucking kids.
I got
you.
You.
Got to pay them shit. That's free labor.
You can't say that. Don't forget child labor laws.
Ain't no child labor laws, goddamn it. You paying rent. Your check is rent, goddamn it. So yeah.
But I know it's a harsh reality for a lot of people to face. You know, a lot of people say
it is.
Why would the government do that? Why would they do? Because they don't care. I know it hurts. It stings. It's like a punch to your stomach. The government don't care.
So that most people will go on welfare. How much do you get for welfare?
Welfare here. Well, it's. To me, those numbers are always skewed because of the way they portray it. They portray it like it's only people that look like us that's on welfare, when in actuality, it's way more white people that are on welfare.
Absolutely.
And that right there is the fact. But that's not something that they push. Sign up for everybody out there. If you want to come on camera, let us know. We'll send you the link in case you want to make a statement. If you got any questions, feel free. If you're watching on YouTube, please make sure that you like and definitely subscribe, and you tell everybody to do the same thing.
Well, a government like ours, they want you on welfare because that keeps you dependent on them. So we want you on welfare. I'm gonna tell you a situation.
Well, I don't want to be on welfare because it comes out of our check.
When I worked at a newspaper, and they were talking about, you know, raising the minimum wage, and the people that worked in the press room, I guess, you know, putting the inserts into the newspaper and all this stuff. These people, they all were getting assistance. So they were pushing back. They were like, no, we don't want to raise. It's going to mess up my cell phone. I think Obama had the Obama phone or whatever. It's going to mess up my cell phone and my food stamp. So they once they get you in that mentality of, hey, we're going to give you all of this, but you just stay under this amount. And you good. The government daddy gonna take care of you, and you fine.
And that is a problem because a lot of people are okay with keeping themselves at a certain whatever. So they can, exactly.
Right. So they can keep getting assistance from the man. Yeah.
All right. Hey, I'm gonna tune this one up just for you, so you can look at the bottom of the screen. This is all for you. This is all you.
Okay. So let's talk about it. It happened last night. Let me be honest. I did not watch it. I didn't watch it at all. I was actually knocked out last night when I came home. But then this morning, I seen all the different clips. Prince Harry and Meghan was interviewed by our own royalty, Oprah Winfrey.
Ain't my damn royalty, but keep going.
Oprah Winfrey. So last night it was a live interview. It was on CBS, and they literally, the royals was on our cable network. Did you see it?
Yeah,
Did you watch it?
Yep, I watched it from start to end.
I'm gonna start with you. Sorry, fellas. What'd you think?
I found it was shocking. Like, you know, they did. So what I realized that they did withhold some of the names
Of course.
Like that's because they don't want that type of heat. But like a lot of stuff was shocking when she said like they were discussing like what skin tone the baby would be, Archie would be. She wanted to commit suicide because the stress was so much. What I find was nice too, that she stated that they got married like 3 days before the actual wedding because they thought, they want their moment, and then the wedding was for the world. Also, Prince Harry stated that, his relationship with his grandmother is still intact. However, his father, he doesn't answer the calls and all sorts of good stuff. And I'm just waiting, honestly, for the royal family to retaliate somehow. I know it's gonna be.
Oh, honey, I know.
Like, I'm kind of scared for her, for Meghan, because you know how they dealt with Diana.
Yes.
I don't know.
And
I really don't know.
I really applaud Prince Harry for the stance that he took. I think he really is making history. What food? What?
Just listen.
Go ahead and say exactly what you said.
Get your point out.
I applaud him for what he did, because I think what I got from the small clips that I watched was that he don't want a repeat of what his own mother went through, which ultimately led to her death. This is what I think. I mean, she was so, it's like, I mean, don't get me wrong. Personally, I would probably be okay with all the lavishness, but the problem I would have is the fact that your life is governed by, people, the monarch. Am I saying that right? The monarchy.
Right.
So, I applaud him for getting his wife and his family out of that, because the fact of the matter is he married an American. And personally, I kind of seen it coming a little.
But they kind of blame Meghan, because they're like, well, Meghan is the one that convinced Harry to leave the British family, to step down. But Harry said he was not happy. He saw, he's like, from the get-go, if you listen to his previous interviews, he stated that he really doesn't want to be there. He doesn't like England. You know what I mean? And I believe that, they dealt with them really harshly. Like, really, they could have like stuck up for Meghan with the press, say that, just stick up for her somehow. And it would have been all okay. Like, she wouldn't have. When she asked for help when she was going through that suicidal part, if they had given her the help that she need, maybe kind of hush it a little bit, because that's what they do. Maybe they would have stayed, because I don't believe that Prince Harry wanted to leave his family, right? But it's just he had to protect his wife and child.
What you got, Jermaine? What you got?
So I have a question. So they left. So does that mean he loses his access to the money and all that stuff?
Yes.
So how are they?
They said it earlier. They said it earlier on Frank Ski. Basically, what they did would be the same way if Sasha and Malia said we ain't doing XYZ, and what then and Obama and Michelle said, well, you ain't gonna get no Secret Service. They have no protection.
Oh, okay.
They lose protection,
but they got money though. But they got access to money. I mean, I'm pretty sure.
They're building their own wealth. Financially,
financially, Prince Charles cut them off. They're not getting any money. It was like the quarter of the year of last year. So basically, what Prince Harry said, he was using the money that Diana left for him to have security for Meghan and them in the States, I believe, or it could have been in Canada. I'm not too sure. But now they're making their own money with their foundation, with the Spotify deal, with the Netflix, and
And that's what I wanted to touch on right there.
What?
Only in America, and royalty leave their country and come here
and make
money off of their story because people actually give a fuck.
But at the same time, remember that Meghan is American.
It doesn't. No, but here, this is what I'm saying. But nobody knows who Meghan is if she don't marry him. So it don't matter that she's American. The fact of the matter is,
yes and no. Yes and no. Yes and no.
Where did she act then?
She was acting on Suits. How do you act on Suits?
On who?
Suits.
The fucking man. That's not my point.
She's not a well-known actor to some people.
She's not well-known, but she was out there.
Yeah.
This is the point. The point that I'm making is that only in America, on some damn Don King shit, only in America can someone from the royal family make a decision to say, fuck y'all and y'all money. I'm going to do it on my own. They not doing it on their own in England. They come over here. They're going to get paid.
Okay, so another thing.
Wait a minute. This is what I'm saying. They did an interview with Oprah. They got Tyler Perry offering up a house. They got this, they got that. But when it comes to people over here that need that shit, once again, Flint, Michigan still ain't got clean drinking water. But they can talk about that shit with Oprah Winfrey. Get the fuck out of here. I'm good.
Yes, you made a valid point right there. But at the same time, they did disclose that their first option was Canada because what they wanted to do was stay within the Commonwealth, the British Commonwealth. But since the Queen said no, you guys are you want to be on your own, you can't. They didn't want to stay within. The Queen didn't allow them to stay within the British Commonwealth, that they had to think about something else, right? So they couldn't go to Canada, they couldn't go to South Africa or wherever. So the next resort was America, right?
Her home.
Her home. So she's an actress in America. It could bring some sort of income there, right? Which it kind of did. And then because of her affiliations as an actor, of course she has some affiliations with some people or know somebody that knows somebody. That's why she got that's why they got the Spotify deal or the Netflix. So they use people they know to have.
The only reason why they're able to do that is because they do have access. So
they have access, and let's not and Harry's a prince. I mean,
he's a prince. So if I'm Tyler Perry, yeah, I give up a house because maybe somewhere down the line, him and Meghan don't make it, and he goes back into the good graces of Prince Charles or whoever over there, the Queen or whatever they call it over there. Then now I got access. I got a straight line there. Everything it's always transactional. Tyler Perry ain't doing this out of the kindness of his heart. Trust me. He knows it's an ends to a means. I mean, so.
Right. I mean, listen, at the end of the day, they're happy where they are.
Yes.
They're going to have their little baby girl. Right?
Yeah, they reveal that they're having a baby girl.
They reveal that they're going to have a baby girl. And, let's just see what happens. I'm just excited to see what the British royal family is going to do. Is either they're going to kill her. Let's just not say it. They are. Look at how they do.
Allegedly.
Yeah. But look at what they did to Diana. That's what I'm scared about. Because as she spoke, as she did that last interview, that was it.
Yeah. Wow.
And then she said in her interview, Diana said that if something is to happen to me, it's because my husband would make it as an accident. if you look at, I usually follow those things on my phone. If you look
Well,
at
of course.
it,
I mean, you know.
she said that. So that's what I'm like. At the end of the day, you know, I'm kind of scared for her. I really am.
I don't believe in coincidences, so there you go.
There you go.
What's up, y'all?
I have to take the blame. I sent Kaid the stream from the weekend review. I apologize. That was the.
I was wondering what happened. I was
that was. I'm looking like why it ain't going through. It was because of that one. So I apologize.
It was not my fault.
Nope.
Well, we got to introduce KZ to Christine. Christine, that's KZ.
Hi, nice to meet you.
What's up, Christine?
We're not going to say exactly which country she's from based on certain things. So she has to keep quiet. So just keep that in mind. So we're not going to say that. We're not going to say that at all.
We're not going to say what country she's from.
She's just in a different country. She's in a different.
I'm from a beautiful country.
Yes.
You want to run or something? Like you hired from the police?
Nah. It's a reason. I'll tell you off air. I'll tell you off camera.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. She hired from somebody. All
right. Well, since she was talking about the Princess Diana accident. Go ahead and cue that little video that I got for you down there.
Oh, hold up.
Because it's fancy now. We got videos of the show. Woo!
March 13th, 1962. Lyman Lemnitzer, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, presents a proposal to Secretary of Defense Robert McNamara, named Operation Northwoods. The document proposed staging terrorist attacks in and around Guantanamo Bay to provide a pretext for military intervention in Cuba. The plans included starting rumors about Cuba using clandestine radio, landing friendly Cubans inside the base to stage attacks, starting riots at the main gate, blowing up ammunition inside the base, starting fires, sabotaging aircraft and ships on the base, bombing the base with mortar shells, sinking a ship outside the entrance, staging funerals for mock victims, staging a terror campaign in Miami, Florida, and Washington, D.C., and finally, destroying a drone aircraft over Cuban waters. The passengers, federal agents in reality, would allegedly be college students on vacation. A plane at Eglin Air Force Base would be painted and numbered as a duplicate of a registered civil aircraft belonging to a CIA front in Miami. The duplicate would be substituted for the real plane and loaded with the passengers. The real plane would be converted into a drone. The two planes would rendezvous south of Florida. The passenger-laden plane would land at Eglin Air Force Base to evacuate its passengers and return to its original status. The drone would pick up the scheduled flight plan and, over Cuban waters, transmit a Mayday signal before being blown up by remote control. The plan is rejected by McNamara, and President John F. Kennedy personally removes Lemnitzer as chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. December 1st, 1984. A remote-controlled Boeing 720 takes off from Edwards Air Force Base and is crash-landed by NASA for fuel research. Before its destruction, the plane flew a total of 16 hours and 22 minutes, including 10 takeoffs, 69 approaches, and 13 landings. August 1997. The cover of FEMA's Emergency Response to Terrorism depicts the World Trade Center in crosshairs. February 28th, 1998. The Global Hawk, Raytheon's unmanned aircraft vehicle, completes its first flight over Edwards Air Force Base in California at an altitude of 32,000 feet, cruising altitude for a commercial jetliner. 1999. NORAD begins conducting exercises in which hijacked airliners are flown into the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. June 2000. The Department of Justice releases a terrorism manual with the World Trade Center in crosshairs. September 2000. The Project for a New American Century, a neoconservative think tank whose members include Dick Cheney, Donald Rumsfeld, Jeb Bush, and Paul Wolfowitz, releases their report entitled Rebuilding America's Defenses. In it, they declare that the process of transformation, even if it brings revolutionary change, is likely to be a long one, absent some catastrophic and catalyzing event, like a new Pearl Harbor. October 24th, 2000. The Pentagon conducts the first of 2 training exercises called Moscow, which simulate a Boeing 757 crashing into the building. April 2001. NORAD plans an exercise in which a plane is flown into the Pentagon, but is rejected as too unrealistic. June 2001. The Department of Defense initiates new instructions for military intervention in the case of a hijacking. It states that for all non-immediate responses, the Department of Defense must get permission directly from the Secretary of Defense. Attorney General John Ashcroft begins flying on chartered jets for the remainder of his term due to a threat assessment by the FBI. July 4th, 2001. Osama bin Laden, wanted by the United States since 1998, receives medical attention at the American hospital in Dubai, where he is visited by a local chief of the CIA. July 24th, 2001. Larry A. Silverstein, who already owned World Trade Center 7, signs a $3.2 billion 99-year lease on the entire World Trade Center complex 6 weeks before 9/11. Included in the lease is a $3.5 billion insurance policy, specifically covering acts of terrorism. September 6th, 2001, 3,150 put options are placed on United Airlines stock. A put option is a bet that a stock will fall. That day, put options were more than 4 times its daily average. Bomb-sniffing dogs are pulled from the World Trade Center, and security guards end 2 weeks of 12-hour shifts. September 7th, 2001. 27,294 put options are placed in Boeing stock, more than 5 times the daily average. September 10th, 2001. 4,516 put options are placed on American Airlines, almost 11 times its daily average. San Francisco Mayor Willie Brown receives a phone call warning him not to fly the next morning. And in Pakistan, at a military hospital, all of the urologists are replaced by a special team in order to host their guest of honor, Osama bin Laden, who is carefully escorted inside to be watched carefully and looked after. September 11th, 2001. The National Reconnaissance Office in Chantilly, Virginia, is preparing for an exercise in which a small corporate jet crashes into their building. NORAD is in the middle of a number of military exercises. The first, Vigilant Guardian, is described as an exercise that would pose an imaginary crisis to North American air defense outposts nationwide. The second, Northern Vigilance, moved fighter jets to Canada and Alaska to fight off an imaginary Russian fleet. 3 F-16s from Washington, D.C.'s National Guard at Andrews Air Force Base, 15 miles from the Pentagon, are flown 180 nautical miles away for a training mission in North Carolina. This left 14 fighter jets to protect the entire United States.
Hi, Boston Center Team U. We have a problem here. We have a hijacked aircraft headed towards New York, and we need you guys we need someone to scramble some F-16s or something up there to help us out. Is this real world or exercise? No, this is not an exercise, manifest.
Wow.
Pretty interesting. I'll tell y'all what that whole documentary was off there. I ain't gonna say it on camera, but yeah. So I always everybody conspiracy. That's weaponized that phrase so much that that it just knocks down anything that could possibly be true. It just knocks it down because they throw conspiracy theory on it, and then everybody else say, "Oh well, it's not true." But we all know conspiracy theories have a way of manifesting itself, so to speak. So just thought that was kind of interesting.
It was very interesting.
I mean, the whole thing is it's about facts, and that's something that is out there that most people don't want to pay attention to, because once again, you want to factor in people's emotions. People are emotionally attached to 9/11 and what happened afterwards and everything like that, but they don't want to look at, okay, how could it have possibly begun? That right there, that's like people don't even talk about the relationship between Osama bin Laden and the Bush's family. They don't talk about that shit. There was a relationship there, but people tend to forget about that. And it's going to happen like that a lot with everything that goes on. But that, to me, that's where the distraction and shit comes in at. But once again, this is what we deal with in this country. I just know it's some emotional cats, but they play on that. Which is, this is to me, that's human nature, but it's really over here.
But I see it, like we said a few minutes ago, I know it hurts people to think that your government do fucked up shit, but they do. Every war that we've been in, it was always a false flag attached to it to get us in that war. Every single one of them.
Why are people surprised? I mean, I get it, but I get it. I told you, fool, people, I think half the people in this country believe WWE wrestling is real. So, I always go back to that. Like I'm this stuff doesn't surprise me, and it's because of how I was raised and who I was raised by. So I was raised by what some people might consider to be a conspiracy theorist. My mom is just, she just woke. She a wokeitarian. I mean, like, this is who she is. So this doesn't surprise me at all. Like, this is, for me, 9/11 was minor. I'm not taking anything away from the people who passed. Now, I lost friends in that building, and the crazy part about that story, I never told you this, fool, but I had a job offered to me.
Yeah, you told me to tell him. You told me. You did tell me.
Yeah, I had a job offered to me in Morgan Stanley, the same floor that the plane hit, like the same. I had a job offered there as a broker.
Wow.
And the funny thing is, I told my frat brother who offered me the job, I said, I'm not working here, man. They're gonna blow that building up. And he was like, what? I said, yo, they always trying to blow it up. I'm not working in that building. And at the time, I was working for 9X in New York as a phone man. And it was summer of 94, I believe, or summer of 95. Somebody set something off in the car that blew up right in front of the World Trade Center while I was walking down by Church Street. And I was like, yo, they're going to blow this place up. And then 4 years later, my man offered me the job fresh out of college. And I said, nah, I'm good. But I don't, that stuff don't surprise me. If you're a historian or if you understand just imperialistic culture and just like how things are, it's all about the awesome lie. This is nothing new. This is nothing new. It's about telling a lie enough until it becomes legendary. And when the lie becomes legendary, people will believe it because it's legendary. It doesn't mean that it's true. You know what I'm saying? I'm also a skeptic. And fool will tell you I'm a skeptic. I don't believe everything I see on YouTube or on TV, and people put up documentaries. I always question, well, where'd you get that from? Because I know people who make documents and make them look real and then scan them. I'm master of Photoshop. I know how to do stuff. So, you know what I'm saying? It's not hard to make documents and put the Pentagon on it or to put White House. That stuff is easy to do. The point is, it's not unbelievable. Right? It's not unbelievable. My mom was at Century 21. She was at Century 21 that morning. I don't know why she was over there that early. I have no idea. And a friend of mine worked in the office building right across from World Trade Center. She calls me and says, can you go on the news and see what's going on? Because there's helicopters all over our building, but we can't see. So, this is 2001. This ain't like big internet time, right? This ain't big, You know, no Facebook. I think we was all on Black Planet probably. Right? You know what I'm saying?
MySpace.
Yeah, I'm saying. So this might have been before MySpace. It was 2001. I don't know. But the point was, I turned on the news and I'm on the phone with my friend. And I'm like, plane done ran into the building. And she's like, oh my God, y'all. She's telling her office people, a plane hit the building. So I'm looking at it. I'm getting dressed to go to work. And I'm like, wait a minute. Oh, here comes another plane. And as soon as it hit the building, my line brother called me from the Pentagon. He worked for the Department of Defense. He said, listen, we are under attack. Get your family safe. I'll call you back. He called me literally before the plane supposedly hit the Pentagon or whatever the case may be. He called and said, we're under attack. I called my friend back after the second one. They shut the city down. They wasn't letting anybody in. I was able to get on my Kawasaki motorcycle and get through the barriers and go all the way into Manhattan. Well, I met her at the GW on the other side of the GW and rode her back to Jersey. And I watched all of this from Jersey City. And the first thing I thought was not about the planes and not about all of that. It was, how come the buildings ain't knocked over? For me, it was always so, like, understand, if you guys remember the World Trade Center, like you had the two towers, they're positioned like this. They're not side by side. One is up and one is a little further closer to the water. I don't know which one is tower 1 or 2, whatever, but one is closer to Broadway, I believe that is. I believe that's Broadway, and the other one is closer to the West Side Highway. How is it that they both came all the way down, but the buildings across the street, like just across the street, two lanes of traffic, those buildings were not damaged? That was demolition. I didn't need to see a video. I didn't need to do. I'm like, yo, so it just gonna fall straight down like that? Yeah, miss me, whatever story you want to tell me. It was a demolition.
What struck me is, you know, and I when I talk about this, I always want to be sensitive about it. You know, people who lost, you know, families to that tragedy, the collateral damage to that tragedy. But helicopters would just happen to be flying up that day. News helicopters would just happen to be up there that day, the exact time when that happened. I mean, that was like, okay. And then when Tower 7 fell, the BBC reporter was on there and she was like, yeah, Tower 7 fell, but the building's still standing behind her. It's still up. It hadn't fell yet, but she already said Tower 7 has fallen and all this kind of stuff, but the tower's still standing. So I was like, man, this is some fugazi shit. Yeah.
Bro, for me, I think the debate about if it happened or how it happened, for me, that's like counting Skittles. Like, I don't see the point in that. Right? That's a waste of time. Like, it's that part. My buddy, he's a photographer. He was a photographer for the Star Legend. His photos from that, he was in Tribeca setting up to do a photo shoot in Tribeca. So if you know Manhattan and you know that area, Tribeca is the model district. It's not far from the Wall Street district. Right? That whole area was my telephone location. I was at 40 West Street was where I worked. So anybody watching this and they know somebody, they'll tell you 40 West Street is right down from World Trade. He was supposed to be in Tribeca shooting something that day. He caught frame by frame both buildings going down. He caught it, like, literally, he just hit the button and went home and developed them. The images of bodies jumping out of the building. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. And he was not able to publish any of the photos because the camera belonged to the company he worked for. And they wanted certain images to be published, so he could never publish them. But for me, debating that, when people debate it, I just look at them like, yo, which M&M tastes better? The brown ones or the red ones? Like idiot, like, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of time to debate whether it happened or if there was foul play. It's obviously something ain't right. The building, fool, did you go to Marcus Garvey? You didn't go to Marcus Garvey, right? So I went to Marcus Garvey Middle School in Newark. Right next to Marcus Garvey were the projects. There was this big thing in Newark where they decided they was just going to blow up all the projects. The projects was 2 blocks away. They had all the kids look out the window. I don't know why they did this. We all looked out the window and watched the projects come down. Not one brick made it into the playground. Only thing came over was dust. Them buildings fell the exact same way.
Yeah. And
they fell the exact same way.
And not to mention all the people who were in that building that made it out, that were saying, yo, we heard bombs, we heard explosions. Yep. They mysteriously end up dying or disappearing, or coincidence. Allegedly.
For me, with something like this, it goes into, we know that this happens in our country by the government. Why would you trust them? That's my big. I constantly say that shit. I don't understand how people can be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna believe everything they say. Get the fuck out of here. I'm good. Nah, yo. Nah, I'm straight. I'm straight. I can't, because basically the history of this country, as far as the government, they show you exactly who you are. But unfortunately, the people here, basically half the people here who believe in WWE, they actually trust them. They trust them. They rock with them like that.
Why? Why do you think they trust them? Like, get to the root. Why do you think they trust them? It's a very simple answer. They don't have the answer. They don't have the answer themselves. See, it takes work to learn.
Indoctrination.
Right? So it's easier, right? Think about it. It's easier when you mix trust with expectation. I don't trust nobody. Like, for me, trust has no place in my list of principles. I'm only loyal to my principles. I ain't loyal to nobody else. Because people change, but my principles don't. If I'm loyal to you and you change, I now got to change too, because I'm loyal to you. I'm not about to do that. I'm loyal to my principles. As long as you're in line with my principles, you got me. Now, trust means that you blindly believe that somebody's going to do what they say they're going to do. Nah. My expectation is that you will be who you've been. I don't need to trust you. I already got expectations. What I need to trust you for? So people who trust anybody, it's because it's like the stock market. I tell you, yo, go buy such and such stock. If you go buy that stock without doing the research, it's because you're lazy. You just trust me to go do whatever I say because you don't want it. You're lazy. Well, this is America. This nation was built on lazy people having the luxury of having other people around the world do everything for them. There's no due diligence at the core of this country.
Right.
So it's easy to get people to do whatever you want them to do. The majority of us are too lazy. You know the dude who sit on the couch and watching TV and take the remote and he's pressing the remote, but the channel ain't changing. So he keep going like this. And he go like this. He get this close to the TV. He could just reach the button and change the channel. He's just lazy. We're just lazy by nature. So it's easy to fool people.
Well, I think it goes back to, like you were saying, programming. I mean, we've been indoctrinated since little kids. What do you do in the morning when you was a little kid? You pledge allegiance to the flag and all that bullshit.
Start your day off with a lie.
And then not to mention Sunday morning, you told some more lies by people. So we're constantly looking for somebody to save us. So that's why we depend on the government, because we're looking for somebody to save us.
So here's the $1 million question: how do we change that?
That's an individual thing. I think. For me, I don't think it's somebody that can come out and say, "Hey, don't do that." I think it's an individual thing, and you have to. I think you have to learn it on your own. Either you're gonna learn it on your own, or you ain't, or you're just gonna be this fucking damn robot for the rest of your damn life.
I think somebody can come out and say it. right? Because we live in a realm where reality is split in three, right? Reality is split in three. Things that are real are split in three. You have your personal reality, your beliefs.
Right.
I believe mayonnaise is nasty. Doesn't matter what anybody in the world say to me. It's nasty. Personal beliefs or personal reality cannot be changed by the masses. Then you have intermediate reality where it don't matter what you think. We all agree with it. Speed
Right.
limit, medicine, laws, religion. Don't matter if you don't think Moses, part of the Red Sea. That's what we believe. You the fool. And then you have ultimate reality where it has a shape, it occupies a space, it exists in a period of time where it begins and it ends, and you can't debate it, right? Our societies thrive in an intermediate reality, right? We thrive not where it's real, but where it's real to most of us. And it's because there's an authoritative say-so. There's always an authoritative say-so that can say, do this, don't do that. But at what cost? The only time our kids will be educated the right way is when they've already bled that cow to the point where ain't no more money in education. As long as there's a financial benefit from this, they're not going to do what's right. They're going to do what works for them.
Right.
See what I'm saying? So yes, it could change if our authoritative say-so says, listen, moving forward, we're going to revamp American history, and we're going to revamp some of these things, and we're going to just tell the truth about what really is. That's not going to work for those in power because it jeopardizes their status in power. So I get what you're saying, Jay, where you don't think it's possible. It's possible. It's not plausible.
I didn't say that I didn't think it was possible.
Maine said,
Jermaine, yeah.
It's possible, but it's not plausible. It's highly unlikely for utopia to ever happen.
I can agree with that.
We gotta collectively, if you raise your kids, and I tell my son this all the time, everybody's lying to you, even when they tell them the truth. Assume the lie, and then question the motive behind it.
There you go. Right.
Assume the lie and then question the motive behind it, because a lie will tell you just as much as the truth, right? And when you train your brain not to be untrusting, like I said, trust has no place for me. But when you expect that people say things to you for reasons, conversations become so enjoyable.
Absolutely.
Why are you asking me that? Yo, what we doing? Why are you asking me that? Right? We have to train our youth, our future, to question the motive behind everything given to you for free. And when you do that, people won't be so quick to just take the candy. Here you go, a little time. What? Why you give me that?
Right.
Here's a book. Why you want me to read this book? That for me, that's how it works. And then we can kind of like combat some of this, but the story is always, the first story in American history is always false. Breaking news is always false. If you think I'm bullshitting, just research. Pick any story from any point in American history and take the first story. I guarantee you, if it was an assassination, if it was a robbery, if it was an attack, if it was a disease, any story you want in American history, the first story is always a lie. You'll find the truth 20, 30, 40 years later when they've already milked the cow.
Right. I get that.
Yeah.
And right, I mean, for everybody out there, if you listen to the subject matter, once again, this is the way I feel. I could care less if you agree with me. I could care less if you disagree with me. It would just be nice if you think independently and stop letting cats think for you. You start doing that, you might see a change. But I know for me, sitting at a restaurant and looking at people at a restaurant at the table with a mask on their face, or Word. So you're gonna wait till the food. So you're gonna wait for the food to come so you can eat and put your mask down. What's the difference?
That don't make that right there. That never made sense to me. Like me personally, I lost a lot of family and friends due to COVID. So with me, I go out in public, I wear my mask. Because once again, it's like the building's coming down. I really don't care about the conspiracy. That nigga really died. Like,
right.
That's enough for me. Like, I don't need to solve this Rubik's Cube. Right? I don't need to know whether it's a new strand or an old strand. I don't wake up every day and go to work as an epidemiologist. Why am I going to play one on Facebook? I don't need to.
Right.
I
know that my friend died.
Right.
I don't play one on Facebook, but I got to know why you riding around with one in your car when you by yourself.
Now that
I got to know that reason.
I don't.
But where I am, it became a mandate. I have to wear the mask in public areas, not sitting at the table at the restaurant necessarily. But if I get up and go to the bathroom, I got to put it on. Listen.
In your car too?
No. You have to wear it in the car. No, that's again. I'm just questioning why people
that don't make sense. That don't make sense that if you got to get up and walk to the bathroom, like so let me. I'm gonna play devil's advocate. Jay. All right. According to some of my friends, I have one friend who's an epidemiologist. So according to this person, that these droplets can last. They can last in the air for hours.
Yeah.
Right? So you play devil's advocate and they can last in the air for hours. You're eating at a booth with your family member who you came with. You guys are within 3 feet apart from each other. Nobody's within 6 feet from you eating. They say the projectile distance is 6 to 10 feet. Let's say you're walking to the bathroom and you
right.
It's in that space.
But now you have your mask on going to the bathroom now.
Yeah.
Right.
To prevent it from lingering in that space.
Yeah,
right.
But it goes into your eyes too. You know, you can get it to your eyes. So why are you not wearing a shield as well? So the mask really doesn't make sense unless you have a shield to go with it.
You make 1,000%. You make a lot of sense. For me, it's just like watching them babies go down. Okay. Right? Because when we talk about realities, the one real thing I know happened is my friend and some of my family members died.
Absolutely.
And that right there, I don't care if Pepe Le Pew made this disease. I don't care who did what. At this point, like he's dead. So for me, when they say we can go back and everything's safe, if that's the breaking news, everything's safe. You can all go back. Bullshit. I have my mask on for the next 5 years.
So Mandy says, "Are you going to take the vaccine?
You going to take a shot?
Oh,
are you going to take the shot?
No, because I'm not a part of an experiment.
There go the answer.
Why would I let you experiment on me? Remember, it is American history to lie first. Forget racism. Forget any of that. It's the rule is lie first, figure it out later. That's the rule. And whoever asked that question, I would challenge anybody to find me an occurrence in American history where the first story or even the second story was the truth. None of them is always, development shows after further development, we find out that this is a third. And 10 years later, John F. Kennedy wasn't shot by a magic bullet. And 30 years later, the guy who really killed Malcolm X was living in Newark. And miss me with all of that first story. Right now, we're in the first story that these vaccines work.
Mm-hmm.
Don't say that. You don't say that word here. We say the shot.
Okay, the shot. I'm sorry. Shot. Yeah. So we're in the first story that this works. My thing is, okay, so to staying in the house. Like I'm 1,000% safer chilling with my family. I'm cool. You're not. They said that the MMR was safe. 15 years of data shows, you know what?
ADHD.
These boys
Right.
there's a correlation between that shot and autism.
Yep.
And 10 years from now, you're going to find the truth. But it's too late. Like it's too.
I want to touch on something that you're saying. For the people watching this show, you are an adult. Do whatever you want and put in your body. But I'm going to make this statement again. If you put any logic to it, have at it. Johnson & Johnson has made a shot. Johnson & Johnson is still getting sued for people getting cancer from baby powder. So, are you really going to trust Johnson & Johnson?
Why are we trusting?
Yeah. Hey,
Yeah, there are gonna be people that's gonna trust them same way because it's a one shot.
Man,
it's a one shot treatment. So
I say this to Mandy. She said, "I'm taking it in hope to get our normalcy back." So I'll say this to you, and this is not attacking you. So please don't take it the wrong way. So normalcy is you take the shot. You still got to social distance. You still got to wear your mask. You still can get it. You still can transmit it. How is that normal? How is that normal? Normalcy is, okay, you got that little card that said you took it and you can move around. But is that normal? Because you're still covering your face. You still can transmit it. You still can get it. You still have social distance. So I don't know how that's normal. I think they're trying to make it normal. They're trying to and like Kai said about, these the different realities. They're trying to make it your reality to be normal for this to be normal, but nothing about this is normal.
Dude, it's a 2 week incubate whatever period, 2 week infection period, right? Here's a math problem. You could either shut down the entire country for 3 weeks and drop ship food. If each city made sure that there were people to deliver your food, you mobilize the military and say, whatever you want to buy from ShopRite, wherever, we're going to make sure that these people deliver it to you for 3 weeks. Nobody go outside. I know this sounds extreme, right? But in 3 weeks, the virus would have killed itself off. We would have been done. But instead, you play whack-a-mole with it. You go up. Numbers are slowly climbing, going down. Open the state back up. Wait a minute. They're rising back up. Close the state back down. Open it back. It's people they've monetized people's lives, and they've monetized the American experience to the point where, like the sister said, she's willing to be part of an experiment to bring back normalcy. Whoa. That's a powerful, because I got friends who have taken the shot because they fear that because of where they work, they'd rather take it so that if they get sick, they won't get as sick. They're fully clear that it's not going to vaccinate or it's not going to eliminate whatever. They're clear about that. But they take it, and I'm just going, if you got to do it because of where you work, I get that. I ain't get off my lawn with this shot. But if I'm a community engineer or social engineer, I'm going, okay, if we were under attack, nobody would be going to the stores, right? You think when this extraterrestrial war happens or whatever, that we could be like, hold on, alien, right? I got to go to the poppy shop because I just got to get what I need. Then y'all can go back to fighting. No, you going to bunker down and you going to deal with it like a real tragedy. In America, we don't experience the tragedies on the level that a lot of other people in the world experience because of us.
Right.
So we want to be part of the victim party. So we celebrate, the small things that happen in our history and try and equate them to these larger, like nobody's talking of Everybody prayed for Paris, and nobody prayed for Uganda. Nobody, you know what I'm saying? Nobody is praying for the Congo, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like y'all pick and choosing which ones is like really bad. And here we are, we're worried about wearing a mask. When history would tell you that in 1918, when the Spanish flu happened, it was the same protocols. In fact, they fined you if you did not wear your mask. Your dog had to wear a mask. Go do some research on the Spanish flu. And the craziest part about it was, where did it come from? China.
Wow.
So it's here as well, where I live, you get fined as well for it. So, like, for example, if you travel and you get on the airport and you don't have your mask, you get one fine for that. If you refuse to go to a hotel, a quarantine hotel, you get fined for that too. So if you refuse the test, you get fined for that too. So they do that here as well. They fine people who, well, at the airport, but if you're like going to like a mall or something, some would tell you can't come in without a mask, and some will just let you go if you say, well, you know, you have a medical condition or something like that, and then they will let you go in. But people over here were just as rebellious, like, we don't wear a mask.
Well, I mean, they could have solved this easily. You know, when this shit first, if they would have did like every other well-developed country and paid the American people their little money direct payments once a month, I think people would have been glad to stay home. Stay your ass home for a month. We gonna give for forever. We gonna give you this money. I guarantee you, people stay their ass home.
No, because you're infringing all my rights and all my freedoms and liberties.
Yeah.
I gotta go outside and do what? Like, see, I know my upbringing, right? I understand my upbringing. We went without lights seasonally. It was part of my mother's economic plan. In the summertime, she got the lights cut off. Because the sun was up from 5 something to 8:45. So she could have the heat on in the wintertime. Because she refused to be on welfare and she refused to raise us in the projects. So it was like, listen, these are sacrifices we got to make. I knew sometimes you just got to go without. But in this country, nobody wants to go without. And Dave Chappelle said this, I always give him credit for it. Every movement in this country that was successful was started because there was a white man who wanted to do something and somebody told him no.
I think that's a perfect way to end the show.
Yeah.
Well, before we end it, I said I was going to ask Kaid on air this in case Danny's listening.
Who's Danny?
Wifey.
Okay.
With Roblox, when Roblox go public, do you think that it's going to be like Airbnb, like it's going to shoot up, and then once it shoots up, go ahead and sell?
I don't think it matters, right? I don't think it matters because if you can put your bid in to see where, if you project it, I think it's probably going to IPO at about $45 a share, maybe 50, you know? So I think if you put in your order to catch the IPO at $55 to play it safe, and you start out with 10 shares or whatever you can afford, once you put it in, just put a trail stop on it.
What is it?
Roblox is it's a video game. It's an in-purchase app for kids where they play, but they can buy, like my son plays. He can buy like a radio, like you shoot people, you run around, you shoot people, you play all these crazy games in it, but you can dress up your characters. They got smart. They figured instead of you buying the game is free.
Yep, you're gonna buy the accessories.
You pay for the experiences in the game. So like if you want to have a nice little dance routine, you buy the dance routine.
Okay.
So what happens is this game, anybody who has kids and their kids are under 10,
Yeah, my son loves Roblox.
Yeah, they know this game.
Right.
They know this game. So I can tell, Jay, by the way you saying, what is it? You don't got no kids that age.
Well, my grandson is 5, but yeah,
but
not that age.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So like, I think it's going to be an interesting stop because it doesn't have much debt, right? I don't think there's any real debt with it. It already shows that it has a market value. So to answer your question without belaboring the point, I would be a liar if I knew what it would do once it drops. But I would say you could either sit back and wait. There's no benefit to waiting if you're going to buy it, right? If you're going to buy it, take what you can afford to invest in it, divide it by 3. Take your first third and put in the IPO bid. And then when it drops, if you catch the bid, it's going to buy you in. Watch it go up, put a trail stop on it. So when it gets up, put maybe 10%. When it gets up, if it drops 10%, you sell, take all your profits, sit back and wait and see where it settles. Because the NASDAQ is down, it's not doing good. I don't see it coming back to anywhere near where it was until probably like June, July. You know what I'm saying? So I don't see them prices that we had 3 weeks ago. We're not going to see those prices again across the board for a while. So that's what I would do.
And hold on, let me, Mandy. Oh no, we understand how you feel. You know, like Fu said, you know, everybody's an adult. You know, it's no judgment here. We're not judging you. You do what you feel you need to do, Mandy. No judgment here. We were just, it was just an open discussion. So don't feel like we were attacking you. Okay. All right.
We definitely not attacking you at all. Please don't take offense. You can do anything that you want. I personally believe I don't think you need to put something in your body that's artificial when you can basically take care of yourself. That's the way I feel about it, especially if it's not going to change stuff. That's just me.
Okay. And my stance is always do your own research, do what works for you and your family, educate yourself. If getting the shot works for you, by all means. But my biggest thing, do your research, educate yourself, do what works for you and your family.
I would add to that what Jay just said, and I'm not speaking to this individual personally because I don't know this individual, but for your listeners and your viewers, we have to learn how to research, right? We have to go past the first page on Google.
Of course.
We have to learn. What you're saying is correct. Do your own research. I just want to add to that. Make it a habit to learn how to research and actually allocate time during your day when you actually just learn things about the world.
Yes.
Don't let things just pop up on you because, believe it or not, the internet becomes an ultimate equalizer. You can learn everything there, right? You can learn. You may not get certified, but you can learn it all. So I would just tell people, do your research, learn how to research, and lastly, don't ignore history.
Yeah.
Nas said it best. No idea is original. There's nothing new under the sun. The only difference is how it's done.
There it is. All right, Fu.
Well, for everybody out there, we definitely appreciate y'all tuning in without question. Thankfully, Kai, what's her name? Danny was listening. She said wifey is listening, so she heard everything you said. So that was perfect.
This is not financial advice. This is not financial advice.
Yeah, you got it. You definitely got to put that disclaimer in there.
Please, this is not financial advice.
And next week we're waiting on the confirmation. I don't want to get people excited, but I do want to give everybody a heads up. More than likely, it should happen. I just haven't gotten the full confirmation yet with everything yet, but we're probably going to have a farmer on next week. So talking about that industry and why you should do it and things like that and what you can do. Is actually a farm that's here in Georgia. So we want to make sure that we're putting that type of information out. So please, next week, now, like I said, I'm going to do my best to confirm within the next couple of days. So we're good. You do not want to miss next week. Mainly because everybody need to be growing their own food now. Growing something you can snack on every goddamn day, whatever. Some lettuce, collard greens, tomato, pop a tomato in your mouth. I don't know, but eat something. Definitely, you definitely need to be doing that on your own, because God forbid if something does happen, you can't go to the supermarket. What you gonna do?
True.
So just keep that in mind.
And Fu, not just to add to that, because I won't be here next week. People need to know, and your farmer will probably echo this. If you allocate part of your yard to grow produce and you actually sell it, there's a tax write-off for that. There's an actual write-off for that. And two, ask the farmer person about government subsidies where they actually pay you to not sell your produce.
Wow.
That's what it started in 1929 depression, where they literally were like, we'll pay you not to sell it. You have to grow it, you have to harvest it, but don't sell it. Why? Because this country produces enough food to feed the entire world's population.
Wow.
But if they did it, it would cause the value of commodities like corn and wheat and everything else to plummet. So people actually have farms and they grow the food. They go through the whole process and burn it and get paid for the whole freight. Ask the farmer about that. That is interesting.
Great.
Yes.
Okay.
That is.
I don't know if I'd be burning it, but
you can't listen.
You can give it away.
No, that's illegal. Check the laws. There's certain things you can't just give away.
That's crazy. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Okay.
Living in America. That shit right there. That shows you right there.
And anybody can fact check that. Anybody can fact check that to see if I'm just making this.
I've never heard of it, but I definitely want to read up on that one. That is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That is very interesting.
And Kyle, when you get a chance, watch the documentary The Men Who Built America.
I can hear you.
Watch the documentary. I think it's on Amazon Prime. The Men Who Built America.
No doubt.
When you watch that shit, you're just gonna be sitting back like, yeah, that's about right. That's about right.
Nothing surprises. Listen, nothing surprises me. Nothing surprises me when the Canadian Parliament is talking about the tall whites. I said, yeah. So he gonna go in front of the whole government and talk about the tall whites. And I'm like, and he's telling y'all that he's seen these aliens and they categorized them by their complexion, and those right there are called the tall whites. On his way out of office, now you want me to watch something? Go type in the tall white, and then come back to me and go, yo, this is nuts. Nothing surprising me.
So I watch it on YouTube or is it on Amazon?
No, this is public information. Go on YouTube. You ain't gotta look far for this. Type in Canadian government official explains the tall whites, and then tell me if you think that whole situation was staged. If you y'all, I hear the clicks now.
We are all doing it at the same time.
So go look at that.
Let me let the audience know about what just happened. I want to really break this down on the people that's on the screen right now. Kaid is my childhood friend. We already rock with each other. He already know that. Jermaine is in that angle of we all intertwined. Jay's face said it all, like, oh shit, this goddamn rabbit hole, I'm dipping my foot in it, but I'm scared.
Yeah.
If I dip my foot in this rabbit hole, I'm gonna fall in, and Fu and Jermaine, they're not gonna pull me out. Now, Christine is like, I believe this shit, I just gotta see it. Once I see it, and for everybody out there, this is the thing. Like, this is why I love doing this, and I can't wait till we fucking national, global, whatever. You have to get to the point where the cognitive dissonance goes away.
Yep.
Once you can get there and just say it's a possibility that it's real. When you can get to that point, you're good. It's gonna take a while because and I'm gonna say this.
Look at Jay face. Look at Jay face. She pulled it up. You see it? I told you. No, he said this in front of the entire government. Like, I just want you to know now, if you're gonna fire me, you're gonna fire me. But we've known about the tall whites for years. Here's a picture of the tall whites. And I thought it was hilarious that he called them tall whites. Look at her face. Yeah.
Once again.
So when you ask me these questions, fool, I don't get
nothing surprises you. We get it.
No.
Because the whole thing about it is, and I've said this for years. Everybody wants honesty, but everyone can't handle the truth.
Right.
You can claim and say you want, please be honest with, but as soon as you tell them the truth, they say you're a liar. They deny it. This, that, whatever. That's the problem. That is the problem. Don't ask for it if you don't want it.
Exactly.
What's the name?
Just give me the facts.
What they say in the Matrix? Follow the white rabbit. Just follow the white rabbit. Go ahead and follow it. Fuck it. Fuck you got to lose. It is what it is.
Listen, bro. The tall whites did it for me. The tall whites did it. The tall whites and curing cancer with HIV virus. I was like, yeah, we there. We there. Like we all the way there now. So he gonna give me this virus.
Look at her face.
So you see it, right?
I see it. And when we're done, I'm gonna watch the video. I'm just reading the article on the Huffington Post. That's the Huffington Post Canada. That's talking about it. So I'm like, wow.
That right there is the perfect way to end the show.
I think so.
So this right here was a nice break from what we usually do. We're gonna be back next week like we normally are. But if you're watching this show, I'm serious. If you're watching this show, just you ain't got a skinny dip. You ain't got to go in butt naked. But you want to test the water in that like the water that's in that rabbit hole. Test it. Watch what happens. It's gonna change this, and you're gonna be like, "Oh wow, that's all that we want for everybody." And to play on what Kai said, please do your due diligence and do real research. Act like you writing a paper back in high school. You can't use one source. Use one and get an F. You have to use multiple sources to back up what you found. Do that, and trust me, it will change your life. You're gonna be mad because once you start uncovering, you're all fuck. Damn.
Bro, my childhood was ruined. My mother raised me on this stuff. I got into an argument over Ron Brown's assassination when I was in like the 8th grade. Like, bro, this nothing surprises me ever. Nothing surprises me ever. That's what I like about your show, man. I like the fact that y'all ain't scared to go there. And look at her face. Jay is like,
everybody make sure that you check the chat. Check the private chat right now. If you're on the show, so Kai, Christine,
sure, yeah.
But so for everybody out there, this was for me. Look, y'all have to look. You see this face? When I smile like this, I am super happy. So this was one of them shows where I know it hit a nerve. A lot of y'all mad as hell, like these motherfuckers got me down this rabbit hole. Yes, we did. Good for your ass. It took long enough. Maybe it'll change that.
Welcome to the desert.
Yes. Yes. I don't know if you unplugged and plugged the fuck back in, but the fact you took it out, got your ass. What is it? Got your ass. Whatever movie that y'all enjoy the rest of y'all night, and we will most definitely see y'all next week. We love and appreciate everything that y'all done for us.
Absolutely. Have a good night. Thank you again, Tanya and Kai.
Thanks for having me again.